Royaume, Royaume.
Hello, my name is Pamela Beckley and I'm your editor and your host for today's Brunching and Broaching session. Today Royaume discusses beauty. Do you look at yourself in the mirror and think that you're too fat or too slim? Do you wish for longer hair, lighter skin? Do you think your nose is too big? Maybe even wish for longer legs? If these sound familiar to you, you're not alone, because as we go through puberty, from a very young age, our bodies change, and some people have problems adapting to some of these changes in their body image. What we want to do here today is to go through some of these issues, and I'm very lucky and privileged to have on our panel two young, vibrant and innovative independent women who are in one way or another linked to the beauty industry. I've got with me Tamu Thomas and Yema Akinwade. And we also have on the panel our junior editor, Imani Makiwan, who will be giving us a different dimension to things, just giving us the points of views of the younger generation based on interviews she's done at her school. A place for me. I've always been intrigued about people who tend to judge people from first looking at them. I get that a lot. I always find myself in a position where when people get to know me, they say to me, "Oh my God, you're so different to the person that I thought you would be." I got that recently. Someone who said to me, "You look like a," I don't want to use the word, but then from speaking to you, I've realized you're so not. Like, I get it all the time. So what I want to get from you guys is, would you judge a book by its cover, per se? Do you think you can get an in-depth, analysis of a person by just looking at them and what's on the outside, or what?
I will be honest, there have been plenty of times, and there will continue to be plenty of times, when I judge a book by its cover with human beings, and they do say you pretty much make up your mind about somebody within the first 4 seconds of meeting them. But it depends on the situation. So, for example, if I saw a woman who was wearing very minuscule clothing walking down the street right now, I would judge her. I'd make a judgment formed on what I've seen just in those few seconds, because I'd love to know why you're walking around like that in the middle of the day when people are shopping in February in London. That I would definitely wonder about that. And there have been many a times when I've seen, for example, a group, not necessarily a group of black boys, but a group of young urban boys wearing their baggy trousers and hoodies and stuff. And from a distance, I'll make an assumption, but when I get closer and I can actually see their demeanour, that assumption will change. But in an environment like this, where I'm meeting people for the first time, generally I'm a feelings person. So if I feel a nice vibe from you, it doesn't matter if you're smelly and all that, then that would have an impact. But it doesn't matter what you're wearing, how your hair is. If I like your energy, then that is what I will judge you on. Unfortunately, sometimes you're let down by that because you create a fictitious image of what that person is like, and sometimes you're actually blown away because that person is like that and then some. But I think it would be a bit untrue to say that we don't judge people by their appearances, because clearly we do.
I do agree that we do. I'll just get your view on that.
With me, I think since growing up, I've always been taught to take people at face value. It's hard. A lot of times, just as you said, you can see someone, they're dressed in a certain way, or they look a certain way, or you see some boys, they've got their trousers going down to their knees, and then you just, it's quick for you to start judging and think, oh, maybe they're gangster, or they're this, or they're lost boys. But then when you get close to them, they're perfectly fine and, no problem. So for me personally, I prefer to take people by face value, if proven otherwise.
Imani, I know you've done a lot of research, because we've spoken a lot, and you've had various interviews with your peers at school, because one of the reasons why you're on here is to give us another point of view, because the issue we're talking about today affects the younger generation a lot. I know we're young, like to think we're young, but when I say younger generation, you know what I mean. What's your view on that? What are some of the things that you gathered from speaking to your friends?
Okay, well, I found out that at school, because I go to an all-girls school, people wear their skirts short. So if you wear your skirt too short, then you'll be perceived as slaggy. But if you wear your skirt too low, then you'll be you're not cool, so no one will really talk to you. So you have to find the balance. But then when you find the balance, there'll still be people who are what's wrong with you? So it's really hard to get in the middle. And then like how you were saying, when you see a group of boys with their trousers down to their waist, you look at them and you think why are you doing it? But then if you get to know them, then you'll know that they're quite nice people. My friend, he's really intelligent and he dresses quite smartly, but when he goes to school for Mufti Day, people are what's wrong with you? Don't you dress like how we dress? So it's you're trying to conform to what other people think. Yeah.
So did you find, from speaking to them, that a lot of people do judge people from first appearance, just by how they look, or were people more interested in getting to know people a bit more before they make judgments of their personality?
Well, I think a bit of both, because most of the time you're around people that you don't really know that well, so obviously you're going to judge them first by thinking, oh, what's she wearing, what's she looking like? So if they're wearing, say there's a brand name that everyone else is wearing, then you'll be okay, yeah, she looks alright, I'm going to talk to her, so I'm going to get to know her. But if there's someone else who's wearing clothes that you wouldn't really associate with your type of look, then you wouldn't talk to them. But I guess you've just got to get to know them, because at school, that's really how you get to know people, by talking to them, not just by looking at them.
Okay, now let's flip the coin. What makes a person unattractive to you? What makes you look at a person and think, oh no, I don't want to get to you?
There's a catalogue of things, really. There are loads of things, and it's unfortunate, but for me, I'm a grown woman. I'm established in my day-to-day career. I'm trying to build a business. I'm a mother. So when I'm looking at people in terms of respecting them, I'm looking at them on my wavelength and above, and I'm not by any means trying to say that I'm above anybody or better than anybody, but if you're somebody who's really loud and brash unnecessarily, it's fine when you're with your group of girlfriends and you're laughing and everything, but if you're one of those attention-seeking people who will just make loud noise and not hoop up for nothing, I think that's really unattractive. And there's a fine line between being confident and being what's the word? I've forgotten. It's just on. But anyway, there's a very fine line between being confident and basically being arrogant. Thank you very much. And I think that arrogance is really unattractive. However, what I've observed is there are lots of people who aren't very confident, so they may mistake my confidence for being arrogant. And it's not that I'm being arrogant. I know that I'm good at my job. I'm told that all the time. I know that I make nice clothes. I'm told that. But I know that there's room for me to grow in all of those. But I'm not going to dampen down my achievements, and I'm not going to dampen down my efforts to make somebody else feel better. And I also think that dishonesty is very unattractive, and people who are so superficial that then will judge people purely on their appearance. For example, years ago, I used to work for a record company, and I would wear my regular clothes, whatever, it was fine. I had my staple group of friends, but I got a designer bag in the sale, and there was a woman who never ordinarily talks to me, but because she saw that bag, that day in the lift she had a conversation with me, and for the rest of the week she was saying hi and goodbye to me. She had never said that before, and I know that if that bag wasn't from where it was from, she wouldn't have been interested. That for me is really unattractive.
100%. I'll just let Yema give her
She
your
says
view.
everything. Sorry. I'm ready to speak. I'm lost for words. Yes, very, very true what you said. For me, what makes someone unattractive? I think, for me, out of years of experience, I'm actually kind of the opposite of what, should I say, we normally do. where you have someone like a geek and you have someone who's old, you think they're trendy, I'll actually want to talk to the geek. Because for me, the geek has more to say. There's something interesting and something more for me to learn from that person who probably isolates themselves, or I think there's so much of a story behind that person that I usually
You're
like.
intrigued.
Yeah,
Want to
exactly.
find out more.
I'll prefer to go to that person, speak to them, and just and just see what they're about.
Do you think that's come with age then?
Yes, it
Because
has.
I'd say
Yeah,
that now, but
yeah,
before that
yeah,
would never
yeah.
worked
No,
for me.
definitely it has. And with experiences, like I've met people from different walks of life, and it's amazing people who tend to isolate themselves. How when you speak